And hello to everyone on Zoom. Hi, my name is Kimberly Foster, and I'm one of the reference and instruction librarians here at the University of Idaho. And today I'm going to show you how to use Zotero. So if you're not here for Zotero, now is your opportunity to leave or stay if you so choose. But a sort of brief overview of what we're going to do today is sort of the basics of saving citations in Zotero, organizing those citations and inserting those citations into your word processor. In this case, I'm just going to be using Microsoft Word today. It's compatible with some other processors as well, so if you're interested, I can take a look. But does anyone have any questions before we get started? All right, so it's going to take about 25 to 30 minutes to sort of go through the basic quick start guide to Zotero, and then I'll open it up for questions and some of the more esoteric things that Zotero does. So if you have to leave at that point, feel free, it's a good time to do so. You should also, I'll have one of these handouts for Zoom participants. We'll be emailing those along later as a PDF. Okay. So you're all good on Zoom? Yes? All right. So I have this handout, which my contact information is up at the top if you want to email me later with more questions. And it just goes through sort of the various icons in Zotero available on the web and on the desktop with explanations of what everything does, because it's not always clear when you look at it. So that's for your reference later. All right. So getting started with Zotero. The first thing you have to do is download it. So if you go to zotero.org, up here, this nice red download now button. So you can download Zotero 5.0 for Windows, and it's able to tell whether you're on Mac or Windows, and it'll prompt you to download the correct one. We've already downloaded it on this computer right here, so I'll leave that for now. And you also need to download the browser connector. Again, it can tell what browser you're using and will prompt you to use that plugin. So I'm using Chrome, so I'll go ahead and install the Chrome connector. Add to Chrome, add extension. All right. And so here is the little Chrome icon. So there's a Zotero connector. So to get full usability with Zotero, you have to download the plugin. So any questions about that? All right. We will get started with saving citations. So we'll log in. Question from chat. So I already have an account, so I'll sign in. And you can see here we have an option now for My Library. So you can use Zotero online. You get more options with the desktop application, but if you're on another computer somewhere or on your phone and you want to sign in real quick and look at a citation, you can do it from My Library. So you can see here, I have sort of one example folder, Wales, so you can see all my citations there. But we will start, so importing references is the big thing everyone is interested in. So I've sort of chosen as my sample search the health benefits of chocolate. If anyone wants to throw out something else, feel free. Otherwise, we will run with that. So just going to do a catalog search for chocolate and health. I'm going to pick a random book, Chocolate Science and Technology. So if you want to import citations into Zotero from the catalog, you download here RIS Zotero. We'll download that. Right. And then we'll go ahead, open up Zotero, File, Import, and hopefully that ended up in the Downloads folder. here it is. So primo RAS export, open, and here it is. So if we click this, it's a book, title, author, the abstract. So it saved all of that. We open it up here. So if there's anything in the notes section in the catalog, it'll show up as this extra little sticky note. I don't really need includes bibliographical references and index, kind of useless to me. So I'm going to go ahead, right click, and move that to trash. So that's what we currently have right now. But I've just remembered we are not currently signed in. So up in the upper right is a refresh button. And if you haven't already signed in, it'll ask you to open up your sync preferences. And sign in. Okay. Prompted to sync again. And so you can see now my Wales folder is still syncing, but here's the citations from that Wales folder that you saw online. So since this is the first time I've signed in on this computer, I had to sync everything over first. But you can still see here, I still have chocolate science and technology. Right. So any questions about citations from books? No? All right. Okay. But the big one most people are probably interested in is citations from databases, correct? That tends to be the big one at a university. Right, so just for the purposes of demonstration, I'm just going to use Academic Search Premier. So chocolate health again, do a search. All right, let's say I like this first one right here. It's actually a review, but so take a look at it. And if you look up in the corner at the Zotero plugin, the icon has changed what it looks like. So it looks like a sheet of paper. And that means it can tell that there's an article on this page. So if you click it, you can see down here, saving. And it'll save to the folder that you have open in Zotero at the time. So if we click here, so here's the article. So it's a journal article, title, author, etc., the ISSN number, all that, URL. And if you click the little arrow button, you can see it's also grabbed the PDF from that page. So you can open that up. And this, so here it is. It's opened up in Explorer on this computer because that's the default that I haven't changed yet. But if your default is Adobe or however you prefer, that's the program it'll open up the article in. So any questions about that? One click, it'll go right in. So that's just downloading one article at a time. There's also an option. So we're on the search page right now. So there are 30 results on this first page. And if you look back up at the icon, it's a folder. So it can tell there's more than one item on this page. So if you click it, it'll open up a list of all of the results. And so you can check off the ones that you want to download. So I'll just select a number of them, click OK. And so you can see it starting to download the ones that I've selected along with their PDFs. So if we go over here, we can check. So here's a PDF for that, etc. So this one, there was no PDF available for this article in the database. So what it did, it made a copy of the page here. So you can see this isn't, well, okay, it took us directly to the link, but it'll take you back to the web page if it can't download the PDF. So that's helpful. So if you're doing, literature review and you need to save a lot of citations and articles, the folder option is probably what you would want to use. Mass download citations, delete the ones you don't need later. So any questions about that? All right. There's also options, so it doesn't just do articles, there's options for different web ones as well. So I've just done a quick news search for chocolate health. And so if we go to confectionarynews.com, click up here. So it says right here, so this icon means it can tell this is a web page. So if we click that and save, go over here. So it says web page, title, author, abstract, the name of the website. So all of this you can edit. So depending on the website, it's a little better or a little worse at grabbing the information directly from a website. So if you have to edit it later, you can just click in. So if you notice, oh, it didn't grab the author correctly, you can just type it in yourself. And it also grabbed a copy of the web page. So you can see this is actually saved as a file, but so this is a static copy of the web page. So whenever you saved it, that's how it will stay. So it's a good way to grab something that you think might later disappear. There might have been a considerable number of images, which is why it's taking a little bit. Here it is. So again, this is a static copy. It's your own copy, so as long as you don't delete it off your computer, it's going to stay. All right, where am I in my outline? Come on. So any questions about articles, websites, etc.? You're good? All right. So now for organizing. So everything here is in this RIS export file, which is not incredibly helpful for what I want to use it for. So if you want to make folders in Zotero, if you go over to My Library and right-click, you can add a new collection, or you can just use the icon in the upper left, New Collection. And I'm just going to call this Chocolate. And then just going to select all of those and drag them over into Chocolate. Then I'm going to delete this folder. Yep. So here are all my items in Chocolate. And you can work within there. So there's some other items. So we have our article here with the PDF. So all the info is in this info tab. There's also a notes tab. So if you're reading your PDF and you're like, oh yeah, page 8, you know, great quote. And you can keep on adding notes, and it has this little notes thing right here. So you can add multiple notes to an item. So you can see there's one note here, or add all your notes to a single note. So if I wanted to edit this note, just click in, and you can continue adding notes. So if that's how you like to organize your notes, by article or book or item, that's a really good way to do it. There's also a tag field. So when you download articles from a database, it will automatically attach the tags and subject headings that are in the database. So that's a helpful way to search. So if you're searching, if you have a lot of items in Zotero, you can search and it'll search the tag field as well. If you want to use tags to actually organize your collection, I recommend making up your own or deleting a lot of them, because you can see here the tag cloud. So we don't have a large number of articles in Zotero, but the tag cloud is already pretty large. So if that's something you're interested in, I would delete the ones that you aren't going to be using. And then there's also the related section. So I personally use this to relate articles to each other, sort of, you know, you know, people getting into like an academic argument via journal articles, you know, reply to this, that was a reply to that, that was a reply to this book that someone published who I don't like. You know, everyone knows that, right? You can make items are related. So select this, add a related article, and I'll say it's related to should I eat dark chocolate, and you click OK. And so you can click back and forth between related items. So you can add as many relations as you like. You don't have to use the feature if you don't want. It's all optional, but that is something you can use. So does anyone have any questions about the info, notes, tags, and related fields, or how to make a folder? You can also make subfolders as well. So if you click chocolate, and then I'm going to right click, new sub collection, and say, I want to have a folder just for my dark chocolate. Click OK, and there it is. So here's a dark chocolate article. So I'll just drag that in. And now it is also in the dark sub collection of the chocolate folder.
Does it remain in the chocolate one as well?
Does it remain in the chocolate one as well for those on Zoom? Yep. So you can remove an item just from a collection if you don't want it in both. But if you don't remove an item from a collection, if you add it to a different one, it'll stay in both. But the items are still linked to each other. So if you edit one, it'll edit all of the copies.
A question from online. Can you download directly to chocolate instead of the RIS?
Yeah, so it was just, so the question was, can you download directly to a specific folder? Yeah, the folder that you have open it in Zotero is the one that it'll automatically download to. So since I had the RIS folder open already, everything just went in there and I moved it later. So if you want to make a collection and have it open while you're downloading, that's where it will go. You can also look at, there's this option over here, unfiled items. So anything not in a specific folder that's just in up here, my library. So this is everything. If it's not in another folder, it'll go into unfiled. So nothing is currently unfiled. There's also the duplicate item feature. So if there are two copies of an item, so you've been downloading articles from a bunch of different databases and there's been some overlap. So this is from the whale folder. But if you go to duplicate items and then click, it'll highlight the duplicates. And then it's like, you take a look, it's like, oh yeah, that's definitely the same article. And you can click merge two items and it'll merge them. So they're now connected. So an edit to one will edit the rest of them. Yes?
So if you have an article in multiple folders, is there a way to see which folder that article is in? Let's say you're working on several different projects, but somewhat related things to which folders you have.
I'm not seeing anything right off that'll show you every folder that it's in. I'm just doing a quick search to see if that will show up anything. I don't think it will. That's something I can look up later though and try to see. So any more questions about folders and organization? All right. There's also an option to have group libraries. So here's another one. So if you go online to your account and go to groups, you can create groups with other people who have Zotero. So you can create a group and invite members via the email that they use to set up Zotero. And then the shared folder will show up here under group library. So if you have admin privileges in a group folder, you can add citations and edit them. So if you're working on a project, that's a way that you can share citations with each other. If you have any questions about group, ask me later. It's mildly finicky to like demonstrate for a class, but it's not really that difficult.
I was just going to comment, that's a really great feature with students putting together bibliographies for classes and kind of connecting things. So I've done that with classes before.
Yeah.
It's a neat feature.
But, all right. So we will go now into inserting citations into a Word document. So I'm going to minimize that and open up my examples. So this is just a file of random English text. Try not to make any sense of what's written here because there is no sense. But if you go over here at the top, there should be a tab called Zotero. When you download the standalone for your desktop, it should automatically install this Zotero tab in Word or whatever word processing you're using. If it doesn't, we have to make a trek through the Zotero help forms to figure out what went wrong, but I've never personally had anything go wrong yet. So if this doesn't show up and you've downloaded the desktop, email me and I'll see what I can do. But so for example, let's say we want to insert a citation at this sentence. So you insert your cursor where the citation goes, and then go over here, you click Add Edit Citation. Choose your style. So I'm just going to do Chicago 17th edition, author date, because that's my personal preference. Click OK. And then this little field will pop up. And so you start typing in, the title or the author. So I'm just going to start typing in chocolate. And so you can see here. And then, okay, chocolate science and technology is what I want to cite. You select. And it'll pop up with the author and the year. If you want to add a page number to your citation, click in, and then choose a page number. So let's say page 30 is what you're citing. Click enter, and then enter again. And so here it is, the in-text citation has been automatically added. So I'm just gonna add a couple more. I'm not gonna bother to add page numbers at this point. Let's see. All right, so I have 3 citations in there. And then, okay, I'm done with my paper. So I'm going to go to the end and click this Add Edit Bibliography button, the second one. And this bottom image here gives an explanation of what all the icons in the Word plugin for Zotero are. So I click Add Edit Bibliography, and it's automatically added in and formatted my bibliography from the citations in the paper. So this first one, Chocolate Science and Technology, I cited twice. And this other article I just cited once. So you saw me put in 3 citations. This is why there's only 2 in the bibliography. But if I go and let's say add another citation, and so it'll automatically update your bibliography and put it in the correct alphabetical order. Now, I've been working in Chicago 17. If I decide, oh wait, it really needs to be in APA, for example, if you click Document Preferences, I'll go up, choose APA, okay. There it is, so it's changed styles a little bit. Let's see if I can find one that has footnotes. So, okay, this has an endnote style. Okay, where is it? Okay, here we are. So I've changed from an in-text citation style to a footnote citation style. So you can see, put in footnotes instead of in-text citation and change the style of the bibliography. So any questions about that? All right, so a couple other things. If you notice that one of these citations is wrong, what you can do is you can go click into it in Zotero and correct it. And then what you do is you click the refresh, and it'll update all the citations with any corrections that you may have made. So we always say, when you download citations with any citation management software, that you should always double check the citation. I've noticed, like a couple of years ago in EBSCO databases, there was an issue with author emails showing up in the author last name field, like squished together with the last name. So that's sort of something to keep in mind, that things like that can happen. So you always want to just do a double check. But if you notice a mistake, you click the refresh. And then down here is the unlink citations button. So right now, you can use the refresh citations button because they're still linked to Zotero. If you click the unlink citations button, it'll break the links and convert the citation sort of into plain text, and you will no longer be able to refresh the links. So if you ever, send this off, an article off for publication, and you've used Zotero, you should unlink the citations first. But have like final copy, and then save final copy unlinked citations. So if you need to go back and correct something later, you still have the linked citation version. So that's sort of, the Zotero nuclear button, unlinking the citations. Be really, really sure you want to click that before you do it. Right. So that's the very basics of getting, yeah?
If you share one that has linked citations in it to a colleague, will they have access to those citations automatically, or how does that work?
I think it goes to them in a plain text version, but I will have to.
Your repeat question.
Oh, so if you send a copy of a paper with Zotero linked citations to a colleague, will they get those citations too? I think there's an option where you can kind of send the citations to people. I'll have to look that up. I kind of recommend sending them an unlinked version. But if you're using track changes, you might not want to do that. The easiest way might be to make them a group. So when you send the file to them, they have them already. But we can look into that after. Oh. Okay. And so a couple other things that I forgot to mention. If you just want to send a bibliography to someone real quick, if you select items in Zotero that you want to make a bibliography of and then right-click, you can create a bibliography from items, choose your style, copy to clipboard, press OK. And then if you open up a document, and so here are the 3 items that I asked to make a citation of, and you can just paste them in. So if you're just sending a bibliography on real quick, or just want to copy a citation to send to someone else, right-click, export bibliography is the way to do it. And then there's also options. So this is getting into the more esoteric stuff, so good place for questions. But the quick start guide portion of the class is done. So that's sort of the basics of getting started. And I'm going to start into sort of the random other things that Zotero can do. All right. So other importing citation options. You can, let me open up my example folder. So you can add a citation in by hand. So for example, nope, that was the wrong one. So I have this citation right here, and I just have it in, so plain text. So if you go to this green plus, new item, you can put an item in by hand. So you have all these options: artwork, it's audio recording, it's a dictionary entry, forum post, etc. But this is a journal article, so I'm going to select that. And then you can just type in, or I'm going to copy paste this information in. But because I'm being lazy, I'm not going to do the whole thing. So you can fill out all these fields if you have a citation that you need to do by hand. And then I also have a PDF for this item already, so CONAR 2016. So I'm going to select the citation and then click the Add Attachment. So I have a stored copy of the file already on this computer. So it's this one. So here it is. So I've attached it by hand. Yep.
So what you did the best way, like let's say we would file a PDF on the computer, is that the best way to then put Zotero? downloading them?
So if you want to download the citation of a PDF you already have, you either have to go find the citation to download it or type it in by hand. It's really whichever workflow works best for you. Like you could go to Google Scholar and look it up. So for example, this is.
Well, I think I asked a question for so the PDF is in a file on
Mm-hmm.
the computer, so to add it to Zotero, I need to do it this way.
Yeah, you have to, if you have a PDF file already on your computer, you have to add a citation first, and then you can attach a PDF. Yes?
Does that mean that PDF is now stored in two places on the computer? In like the Zotero folder as well as the source folder?
Yes, I've just double checked. So this is stored in the official Zotero storage folder now, as well as its original location. So if you want to delete it from its original location, which I would just double check that right now. Yep. So it'll move it into the Zotero folder, which allows it to sync online and to other computers that you might have downloaded Zotero to. I just want to warn you, you get, so for the citation information only, you get unlimited storage space. And then you get a certain amount, I think it's 500 megabytes of storage space for things like PDFs and like the notes fields. So keep that in mind. There are ways to work around it using like Google Drive and USBs. So you get unlimited syncing with just the citation information. And then it's a, what's the word, a freemium style. So certain amounts of PDF syncing for free. And then you can pay for extra storage if you want. So any questions about that? There's also, if you have something like a DOI, so I have a DOI of an article here. You can add items by identifier. So if you have something like an ISBN or a DOI, if you add that there. So it's found, it's gone to the DOI and it's found the citation information. So this will just download the citation information right off. So journal article, the cardiovascular benefits of dark chocolate, the author, etc. If you want to go find the PDF, you select the citation and this green locate arrow. I find Crossref has sort of the highest success rate. So if we look up Crossref lookup, and if you're on campus especially, this will work much better. But it has sort of bounced us through Crossref and then into Science Direct where there's a PDF copy available. And since we're on campus or otherwise signed in, it can tell that we do, yes, have permission to download this article. So I'm going to, you can download the article and attach it by hand with the attachment icon. But I'm just going to go ahead, download it again. So there it is. And look up in the duplicate item. So the copy that I got with the DOI is on top, and the copy that I got from the website with the PDF is on bottom. I'll merge them. And so here it is. So you have it with the PDF now. So any questions about looking it up by identifier? Right. So there's also a search field. So it'll search, you know, the title. It'll search pretty much all fields, including tags. So it's just like, I know I downloaded this citation, but I have 2,000 citations. I have no idea where it is. You can use the search to find it. I think. And so, yep, that's kind of everything I'd planned for the lesson plan. So I'm opening it up for questions for everyone or specific issues if you're trying it out on your laptop and need help with something.
Does the citation thing in web, does that transfer to other web processes? Like, does it work with Google Docs, for example?
Let me check. We'll have to Google that. I think, will Zotero work with Google Docs? And so we have here support. Yep, so it does work with Google Docs as well. Slightly, okay. So it's not the full linked citation, so it doesn't do the automatic update and refresh like Zotero will, but you can still right-click, create bibliography from item, or what's the other option they said? Or, okay, so you can drag them directly into the document, and if you drag it while holding the shift key, it'll make it a citation. Yeah?
I'm wondering, say you're collaborating with someone who's using Mendeley or something, is there a way in which they can
So they don't speak, so the question was, if one person's using Zotero and another person's using Mendeley, can the programs talk to each other? There's no automated way for them to talk to each other automatically. There are ways that you can convert libraries from Mendeley to Zotero and vice versa, but you have to do that every time you have an update. So you could send someone, do an export of your Zotero library intended for Mendeley and send it to your partner, and they can upload it into Mendeley and vice versa. But there's no way to sort of link it to do it automatically. So I really do recommend choosing one or the other to work in. And if you start a project and one person uses Mendeley, one person uses Zotero, pick whichever one you're going to use for that project right off. But you can, last I checked, you can have the Mendeley and Zotero for Word plugins at the same time. But Zotero has had a big update recently, so I haven't checked recently to see if that's still the case. Although actually, is Mendeley on this computer? Yeah, okay, that's something we would have to check. Yep.
Are there distinct advantages to one or the other programs?
Is there a distinct advantage between Mendeley and Zotero? I'll have to look up the exact what they have syncing for free. I really am a big fan overall of just how Zotero downloads the citations. I'm not sure if the folder download option is in Mendeley yet. It's been a couple years since I tried, but I was not overly enthused with how Mendeley downloaded citations from databases the last time I used it. Mendeley did have an option where if you just had a PDF, you could upload the PDF and it would try to extract the citation information directly from the PDF. And the newer the PDF was, the better it worked, which Zotero does not have that. But I personally don't think it's worth the trade-off really. But if you have a large number of just PDF files that you need the citation information from, maybe Mendeley is the program for you. But if I had that problem, I would upload them into Mendeley and get the citation and then export to Zotero. But that's me. Other questions?
Just another comment about Mendeley is it's an Elsevier product. So it's really well integrated with all of their stuff and their journals, not so well with everything else.
And
chat. Sure.
And Zotero is open source.
And Zotero is all open source.
So if that's really important to you.
That's I got it. I think I answered it.
Anything else?
That's it. Yep.
All right. So any other questions? Right. If you have something you want to ask me in person afterwards, please feel free to do so. Also, my contact information is on the top of the handout. So if you want to email me directly, the general library contact information is also on there as well. If for some reason I am unavailable, I come down with the flu, like apparently most of Northern Idaho is doing, in which case Evan might be getting that question, probably. So, yep, have a great rest of the day. Download citations, work on your literature reviews.
Stop writing
all
your
that.
bibliography right here.
Yeah. Normally the hook I start with is like, if I had known this existed while I was writing my undergraduate thesis, maybe I wouldn't have cried in multiple people's offices. But I'll end with that anecdote today. All right.